Hey everyone, welcome to CrossGen Gaming, where we bring facts and logic to all discussions, and we've never ever once been caught up in weird stories about video games that are sensationalized. We've never been clickbaited ever. We're the most above the board all the time.
Yeah? That's You honestly believe that? You don't think
I've never.
You don't think you've ever been clickbaited? Not any time. Not even like it doesn't even need to be recent, just like ever. Whole life? No. Never? No.
I bring facts and logic. I mean, I would never ever read an article that says that somebody got paid only $4,000 or offered $4,000 to do a voice acting gig by a huge company and then immediately be like, well, those guys suck. I've never done that.
Sounds weirdly specific.
It is unfortunately weirdly specific. So, even though it's not true, obviously we get caught up in crazes and the frenzy and hype the same way you all do. Unfortunately, we get got. It just happens. Most recently, the original voice actress for Bayonetta seems to have fibbed a little bit about her offer to reprise the titular role, and it has kicked off a giant, huge discussion within the gaming community about voice actors and their worth. So we should probably talk about that.
Oh, I would love to, John.
Dylan is a voice acting aficionado, if you don't know this.
I'm in the voice acting circles, so this one hit home.
But before we dive into all the details, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we post new content. Getting started with this crazy tale, we need to kind of get on the same page about the timeline of all these events. Dylan, take us away.
Let's begin in the distant past of October 4th.
The long ago of just barely a month ago.
On October 4th, it was officially reported that Hellena Taylor would not be returning as the titular character for Bayonetta 3. The role was instead offered to Jennifer Hale, another seasoned video game voice actor most known for her role as Samus Aran and female Shepard in the Mass Effect games.
Femshep, baby!
Speaking to Game Informer, director Yusuke Miyata said, quote, "Various overlapping circumstances made it difficult for Hellena Taylor to reprise her role. We held auditions to cast the new voice of Bayonetta and offered the role to Jennifer Hale, whom we felt was a good match for the character. I understand the concerns some fans have about the voice change at this point in the series, but Jennifer's performance was way beyond what we could have imagined. I'm confident that her portrayal of Bayonetta will exceed our fans' expectations," and end quote. While it is never fun to see a role change hands, it seems like fans were generally okay with the change, noting Hale's talent and history in voice acting.
I feel like you and I have actually had several discussions about Jennifer Hale specifically and how talented she is. So when I saw this, I was like, whatever.
Like we said, it kind of stinks seeing that happen, but if there would be anyone, Jennifer Hale's a good pick.
Unfortunately, things did not stay settled for too long.
Oop.
Not at all.
Got crazy fast.
On October 15th, Hellena Taylor tweeted a series of videos explaining her reasons for not returning to voice Bayonetta. I think it's like 3 or 4 specifically. In the videos, a clearly distraught Hellena explains that she was only offered $4,000 to reprise the role, while the franchise itself has made over $450 million. That's not actually accurate. We'll get into that a little bit later, but that's what she said. That's what she said. To quote Hellena herself, "I didn't want the world. I didn't ask for too much. I was just asking for a decent, dignified living wage. What they did was legal, but it was immoral." Very, very strong words. She then goes on to ask for fans of the franchise to boycott the game outright, stating that, quote, "I understand that boycotting this game is a personal choice, and there are those that won't, and that's fine. But if you're someone who cares about people, who cares about the world around you, who cares about who gets hurt with these financial decisions, I urge you to boycott this game." Now, when I say that caused a lot of controversy,
oh my,
and stirred up a hornet's nest of emotions, good gracious, that video immediately set the gamer sphere on fire with thousands of tweets and hundreds of YouTube videos offering support as well as promises to boycott the game. My feed was literally nothing but "I'm boycotting Bayonetta 3 and here's why ... with a stern-faced person staring at the camera.
It was a plague.
It was ridiculous. Many also took this opportunity to bash both Platinum and Nintendo, seeing it as another clear example of big business taking advantage of us small creatives, those of us who are out here bleeding and crying and sweating to make stuff happen, and they're just taking advantage of little of us.
But there's a twist.
A twist?
Just a few days after Hellena metaphorically set the gaming house ablaze, Bloomberg's Jason Schreier published an article debunking Helena's claim.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Don't mess with Jason Schreier. They know exactly how to find exactly what you don't want them to find.
My God, he is the best at it. Specifically, Schreier quoted sources saying that, quote, the developer appeared to be determined to rehire Taylor for at least 5 sessions, each paying $3,000 to $4,000 for 4 hours in the studio, end quote. So to do a little math there, at the end of this, Helena would have ended up with between $15,000 to $20,000 for the game. That's a bit different than $4,000.
It's also, just quick math also, about 20 hours of work for $20,000. So I don't know if you can do the math there, but that seems like about $1,000 an hour, which is slightly more than what I would say is a living wage.
Just a bit more.
Just a little higher than that. Granted, taxes come out, but still.
The report goes on to mention that Helena's counteroffer was quite high. Quote, Taylor asked for a 6-figure sum as well as residuals for the game. Platinum declined, and following lengthy negotiations, took auditions for a new actor, end quote. Platinum also apparently offered Taylor a cameo role for a 1-session fee that she also turned down.
I mean, like, they're just, how many olive branches?
Literally, like, they kept on trying, man. I feel bad. Jeez. Following the bombshell report, Helena did change her story a bit, saying that she was offered $10,000 instead of just $4,000.
Slightly higher.
Just a bit. She then mentions that she reached out to Hideki Kamiya asking for what she was worth, and he offered her an extra $5,000. So she declined to voice the game.
I mean, I'm not going to say that she lied explicitly, because I do think that she clearly wanted more, that's just the contract negotiations. But again, the tone of her videos made it sound like they were trying to give her peanuts.
Yeah.
And that's not peanuts.
That is so much money, especially compared to other voice actors. That is so much money. It's ridiculous.
So that all leads into several questions that we have following this bombshell of stuff. First things first, is Bayonetta 3 even good? Bayonetta 3 released last Friday and has received very favorable reviews from most gaming outlets, sitting in an 89 on Metacritic, which is pretty respectable.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
While this drama threatens to overshadow the release of a long-anticipated title, this was initially announced back in 2017, just for context, it seems like Platinum has crafted another fantastic action game. While we may never know the exact numbers and negotiating terms were between Taylor and Platinum, this whole situation has brought up discussions about pay and who does or doesn't get properly valued for their contribution to a game. You know, gamers don't really tend to pay attention to how many people it takes to make the big, crazy, high-budget game that they're playing. And this is even more, context for how they don't really even realize how much it costs to get their favorite actor to play the role that they love so much.
Yeah, it's a lot more complicated than we can even imagine.
It's worth noting that while it may appear to us hardcore gamers that Bayonetta is a pretty big franchise, not necessarily COD levels of big, but still pretty decently big, that's not really the case. Bayonetta 1 and 2 have sold around 2.5 to 3 million units total, if we're being generous, which is only around $150 to $200 million in revenue. Granted, there's other merchandising and thing that goes into that, but at the end of the day, that's not the most money when it comes to how much it costs to make those games. That is also across all platforms, which includes the 360, the PS3, the Wii U, and the Switch now.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Yeah, that's not that big.
And more importantly, that is a far cry from the $450 million mark that Taylor claimed initially.
All of that may be moot though, as even voice actors for much larger games don't always get paid the most money. Broken down discussion over voice acting rates led to the longest Screen Actors Guild strike in history back in 2016 and 2017, with residuals being the main issue. The final agreement made in 2017 includes a sliding bonus structure based on the number of sessions the actor participates in. But did anyone even know that was going on?
I wasn't even aware. I'm actually like, I pay attention to gaming news, and even I didn't know that happened.
I mean, the general gaming public tends to not focus on voice acting talent the same way that one would focus on talent within a movie or a TV show, since you are, able to actually see the actor more clearly. Even games with outstanding motion and facial capture don't always highlight the talent involved the same way a movie poster would. For example, the most recent Call of Duty game, Modern Warfare 2.
Modern Warfare 2.2, thank you.
2.2. Okay, that's pretty funny. Modern Warfare 2.2 has some of the most groundbreaking performance capture we've seen this generation. But many of the actors probably won't be recognized while walking around outside the way that a headlining actor for a Marvel movie would. Unfortunately, while Taylor may not have been fully above board with her claims, the reality of the situation is significantly more complicated than general online discourse would make it out to be. So that's basically all the little bits and bobs and the more small, complicated parts of this bigger discussion, but there's also the biggest question of it all: why is this happening and why are all these problems arising, which we will get into more in our episode next week. So make sure to stick around, subscribe, follow to make sure you see that.
Yeah, it's really complicated, you guys. It's,
Yeah.
On the surface, it's just like this whole David versus Goliath thing of, small creative needs to go up against large corporation, but like the realities of it are just so much more complicated than that. And the sad reality is nobody's really in the right, except for Jennifer Hale, who's just doing her job.
Yep, she handled the whole situation like a champ.
But those are just our thoughts and opinions. We would love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Will you be buying Bayonetta 3, or are you going to boycott the game as Hellena asked you to begin with? Also, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a like, subscribe, and make sure to hit the notification bell to be notified when new episodes come out. Dylan, where can people find more of you?
They can find me on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube at The Dylan Machine, where I will just be talking about Destiny, talking about Sonic, having a good old time.
And sometimes he posts Halo clips.
Sometimes, if I just have them somewhere in this little computer back here.
Dylan's also going to soon be a Fear 3 streamer exclusively, so be aware
Wait.
for that. That's the joke. It's not going to happen.
Those multiplayer modes, man, they've got mountains of content just waiting.
And you can find more of me on YouTube, where I stream every Monday and Wednesday, and also post shorts about all the games that I've been playing. I review them. It's a cool series of 1-minute reviews. And I also have some longer form content coming, mostly about how to help you beat your backlog, because we all have backlogs and most of us don't know how to actually beat them. I'll help you with that.
But we'll see all of you in the next generation. Bye-bye.
See ya.